Okay, I think that we're live. Let's see. Make sure. Did I do it? Okay. Sorry, my internet was being slow there for just a minute, but hey guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. A few weeks ago, or about a month ago, I was posting on my level 1 page, and I said, you know what? Let's do a training at my house. Y'all come in, and so we had dinner and hung out. It was so fun, and some of them um, brought a level 1 with them, and it was great. And we covered some of this, and I just thought, you know what? It's all written out. Why don't we make it into a training for the whole team? So y'all will have to excuse me too, because I have had a sinus infection this week. There's all this junk going around, and I have gotten a hold of it, and is not wanting to go away. But I have my tea sitting here, and so hopefully we're gonna make it through. So, okay. Also, disclaimer: if you're, obviously on the Get Plexi page, then y'all know that typically those trainings that we're posting on there in the middle of the week and just during the day, those are just a few minutes, and they're just little, hey, here's a tip of the day, or here's something that I just thought of, or just little bits of training for just a few minutes. This is actually like a sit down, legit training. So settle in, because we're going to be here for a minute. And I hope this is going to help, because I feel like so often people are saying, this isn't working for me, or what am I doing wrong, or looking for other stuff. And if you're not doing these things that we're talking about tonight, this business is not going to work for you. It's one thing to jump on the trainings and to see what's going on the team page and maybe be in your threads and talking all about Plexus. But if you're not doing these things, your business will not grow. So tonight I want to cover, Plexus is a simple business, and there's just a few systematic things that if you're doing those, you are going to see fruit in your business. You're going to see success, because these are the tried and true practices that are going to get you where you want to go. So if I was thinking, you don't have to be able to do a lot of things. You just need to do a few things well. So what are those few things that you need to do well to see that success in your business that we're all looking for, no matter what? Alexa, off. I'm sorry. She's like spazzing out the last couple. She just comes on. Okay. Moving on. Okay, so what are those few things you can do well? Because we're going to go over those tonight. So that would be your income producing activity, and doing that with a daily mode of operation, your DMO. So what's your IPA, your income producing activity, and your DMO? We're going to go over recruiting and prospecting. We're going to go over following up. We're going to go over people skills, and we're going to go over motivating your team and how to get them to duplicate and how to spur them on. And so that's what we're going to cover. So those are some heavy hitters, right? So we're going to dive into some of those tonight and just develop what that really looks like. And I hope that y'all will take this to heart and go practice it. Okay. So it all starts, I will say, you are your biggest asset. You're the game changer here. So what you put into this and how you do this, it all starts with you, because for your team, you're the standard bearer. You're that standard bearer of excellence, and everyone else under you, you can just kind of assume they're going to be a diluted version of you. So what are you putting into your business? Because they're going to see that. So let's just say if your team, they were watching you and they started duplicating all your efforts, if they were all doing exactly what you've been doing for the last 3 months, how many rank advancements would you have on your team right now? If it was all off of your activity and it just being duplicated, are you putting the work in? Because don't just blame it on managing your team. I'm trying to help these people and these people. It starts and ends with you and your business. I do income producing activity just for me, Rebecca's business, every day. I'm reaching out, recruiting, prospecting, following up, checking in with people every day. Am I helping my team? You bet. But I'm also doing stuff for myself every day. So just remember that it starts and ends with you. Okay, so let's get into the nitty gritty, starting with income producing activity and how to make that into a daily mode of operation. So, what is income producing activity? What would we classify as things that are actually going to grow your team and make you money? Well, that would include reaching out to people, whether it's cold messaging or talking to someone that's so that they're interested in your business. So, prospecting and recruiting. So cold messaging, prospecting and recruiting, following up, investing in your team, sending out samples, and smart social media. That's really about it when it comes to income producing. Can you be doing scrolling Facebook, and can you be watching a lot of training and learning a lot of things and doing personal development? Of course. Are those great for your business? Of course. But they're not income producing. So you need to be doing the income producing activities every single day. This is a numbers game. The more that you reach out to people, the more that you're going to get people that are interested, that are going to want to join your team. But you need to be purposeful in your approach. So we'll go into some more details about that cold messaging and recruiting. But no, that has to be a part of your business. Make business hours, get your family's input, be all in on those business hours. Okay. This is not time to troll Facebook. You can set a timer and do that later. This is for purposeful activity that is geared towards income production. So this is when you're doing those income producing activities. Make a power hour. Make maybe you don't have a whole hour, so maybe you have a couple 15 minutes, blocks of time. You can do a lot in a small amount of time. Maybe you only have that 15 minutes. Maybe you have a couple 30-minute pockets of time in your day. Have a running list of what you're doing that day. There's always lists and notes in my phone, like I need to call customer service about this. I need to check in with Susie. Okay, I'm going to follow up with Carrie, or I'm going to, whatever it is that I'm going to do, I've got lists. So when I have a little 15-minute block of time, I already know what I'm going to do. Because doesn't it stink when all of a sudden you sit down at your desk and you go, okay, I'm ready to do some income producing activity today, and you don't know what to do. So have a running list that reminds you, here's what I'm going to do when I get my time today. And you know what? Go ahead and put it on your calendar. This is my Plexus time right here. I don't care if it's the 15 minutes. Make that your non-negotiable. Think about how many voice messages you can send in 15 minutes, or how many messages you can type out. A lot. You can get a lot done in 15 minutes. So do that. Okay, have your calendar, fill it up. Make sure that you've got things on it every single day that are for Plexus. Make sure that there are times of the day that you're working this. Okay, next. Get an accountability partner. Get a running partner. There is something magical that happens when someone finds that running partner. When they find that running partner, they have the accountability. They've got a cheerleader. Find someone that claps when you win. There's healthy competition there, but when you do something great, that you don't feel guilty about it, that you're like, you want to tell that accountability partner because they're excited for you and they're cheering. If you don't have one, recruit one. Let that be a reason that you're reaching out to someone new, because you want them to be that person that's going to run alongside you. Also, make sure that they are not negative Nancy, and they're not going to be dragging you down. If you get down in the mud and you're like, I'm over this, 3 people told me no today, I just can't go on, that they're not like, you're right, we're done with this, we're out, this is stupid. No, you want that person that's going to pull you back up and say, nope, we are doing this. We've got goals. We are crushing them. We've got a plan of action. Remember your why. You want those friends, okay? And I'm just going to say, I was having a bad day yesterday and I was mad and sad. Do you know who I go to? I know the friends that will get down in the mud with me and say, I know this does suck and it's awful and whatever. I know those friends. I don't call them. I call the ones that are steady, that are going to go, you're right. this was a hard day, but let me tell you about all the good things. And Rebecca, you can do this. You were made for this. You need those friends. Okay. So find them, look on the page, see who's asking a lot of questions. If they're asking a lot of questions, they're probably in activity. Find someone that's going to run alongside you. Make your plan, have your list. Also, I think it's good when you have it in your calendar already. That's going to make you braver. Okay. Because if it says, okay, tomorrow I am cold messaging Janice, then you know it's coming, And then when 2:30 hits, you're going to do it. Okay. And you've just got to be brave for that 30 seconds. And if you're scared, then you do it scared, and that's okay. But something about having it down there, no, I am doing it, and I'm doing it tomorrow at 2:30. That will make it happen. Okay. You can be thinking already about what you're going to say, or be thinking, give yourself some time so it's not impulsive, but it's actually something written out, and you do it. Okay. Fill your calendar. The other thing is, get a calendar. And once you filled it, then start writing down. Maybe do it for a whole week. Write down every single thing that you're doing that's Plexus related. If you go to the post office, if you mail out a sample, if you cold message someone, if you check in with someone, if you reach out to a customer and make sure they're doing okay, if you call customer service, if you post on Facebook about Plexus, if you go look at your Franks list and check in with that, if you watch a training, if you do a training for your team, whatever it is, write it down. Okay. And at the end of the week, look at that training and say, okay, here, I'm not look at the training, look at your calendar, and it'll be like Weight Watchers. You're going to step up on that scale and see, okay, what was this week like? Did I eat too many Cheetos? Because it's going to show up. It's going to show up by the fruit that was produced during the week of your activity. Okay. If you're not putting work in, don't expect it to work. We do not call this a get rich quick scheme. This is not a, hey, you just sign up a couple people, y'all. I mean, it just like happens. It's just like easy. No one is saying that. I do not know a single diamond that would be like, I don't even know what happened. It was just like crazy. It just like happened to me. No, we are clawing our way there. Alexa, off. I'm going to unplug her if she does it again, but sorry, that's totally weirding me out. Okay. Okay. It's not easy, but it's worth it. And you're doing all these small, consistent steps every day that's going to get you there. It's all about the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. That's consistency. That's the game changer. That's when you're putting the small things in every single day, and that consistent effort, that is what is going to get you where you want to go. Okay. So that was the, the last thing I was going to say is that Brenda Martin, love her. So she's that diamond. She's married to a diamond, Delvin Martin, and they have 11 children. They're building the Martin Barn House. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Love her. And she always says activity cures everything. So I'm sure she's talking a lot about her kids. If they're fussing or they're saying they're bored or they're complaining, she says activity cures everything. It's the same thing in your Plexus business. If you're doing those income producing activities, that is going to cure what ails you. It is. It's going to cause momentum. Guys, momentum's going to go either forward or backward. You're always in momentum. Are you going forward or are you going backward? But the further you fall from not doing anything, it's going to make it harder to pedal to get going forward again. So you've got to stay on track. You've got to keep doing those little things. It's so easy to get off the wagon. Don't do it. Stay on the strong and steady. So you're going to stay in momentum. Activity is going to help your momentum. Activity is going to help your belief, because you're going to start seeing this working for people and yourself, and it's going to help your belief. It's going to help your networking, because you're going to be talking to different people and they're going to talk to someone. It's going to help build your, just widen your horizons, expand your network. It's going to do that. It's going to help your attitude. When you're busy, then it's triage. You're just dealing with this. You're dealing with this. You don't have time to focus on negative because you're busy. You are in activity. You are in momentum. It's going to help your attitude and your outlook. And lastly, it's going to help you with your experience and your knowledge base. When I started Plexus, I just jumped in both feet and I said, okay, I'm in. I'm doing this. I'm going all the way to the top. I'll figure it out as I go. And that's what happened. And trial by error, I figured it out. And I asked lots of questions. People always, when they first start, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for bugging you, but I've got a question. I've got a question. I'm like, yeah, of course you have questions. And that's great that you have questions because that means that you're actually doing something. And so you're having questions. I love questions. Great. So ask questions. It's going to help you with your knowledge base, your experience. Bad things are, you're going to mess up and that's fine, but you're going to learn. So the activity, it's going to cure everything. Okay, moving on. Recruiting and recruiting and prospecting. This is the foundation of our business. This is the location to real estate. This is the bread and butter. We know this is a numbers game. We know that we're talking to a lot to get a few, but you got to get out there. Are you reaching out? Are you talking to people? Not just posting on social media. Are you reaching out specifically to people? You've got to be doing that. No one gets to diamond or jewel level and says, okay, I'm done. I'm not reaching out anymore. If they do, their business is going to suffer. Like, I'm still reaching out. You need to be still reaching out, like non-negotiable. That's just part of your daily activity. So make sure you're looking at your Franks list. That's a living, breathing, evolving document. You're checking on it all the time. You're adding to it. You're, making updates to it that you talked to so-and-so or you followed up with whoever. And you're looking at that Franks list all the time, all the time. Don't be offended. Don't take it personally when they tell you no. It could be a not now. Be gracious. Something may change and they'll remember your response, okay? Plus, you may see something down the road that makes you want to go ahead and say, hey, I know we talked about this. I know that you weren't interested at the time, but you might be now if I just want to show you this. Keep that an open line of communication. So, okay, don't be easily offended. You're always in recruitment mode. You're always hiring. You're always looking for new people. Maybe offer a referral reward program. Maybe let your customers or wholesale ambassadors know, hey, I offer a referral. So if you send me a new customer, I'm going to send you a one of these 3 products. You send them an X Factor or a block or something like that. Maybe it's just a 7-day sample. Maybe it's free shipping, whatever it is, but some kind of referral program so they know that if someone says something about Plexus, I mean, there's a lot of Plexus people. Why would they send them to you? Because you've got a referral, a loyalty program, and that's great. So, and it might connect you to someone that you would have never been connected with. So maybe come up with a way that you could send something like that out to your customers, a little finder's fee. Practice what you're going to say. Practice inviting language. Practice what it's going to sound like when you talk to someone. I think so often we forget, we get in a situation that we want to say something and then we're not only nervous to actually speak to them, but we're also like, what are we going to say? So when you're brushing your teeth or you're driving down the road or you're in the shower, practice what you're going to say. Practice smiling. Practice what you're going to sound like and the energy behind it, or, what's your why, and all that. Practice that so that it comes out more naturally when you're recruiting. Maybe you want to do launch events or opportunity events online. Those are great. Those work. That helps people on your team to be able to see they can do it too. It gets people watching when they don't really want to come, to your house or something. Do those online events. Those are great. People might want to come. Some people love the sip and sees or the cocktails and conversation. So if they do, offer to do that for your team. I always offer that. Like even if it's not my thing, if it's theirs, those work great. Remember when we did that sip and see contest and all the excitement that came around that? Some people love those. So offer that. Always have sample packs. Be ready to give out sample packs. Be willing. Maybe it's even just a stick and a stick of Slim and a business card. Perfect. That way it's just a taste test. They don't feel like they're expecting some like huge thing to happen, but be ready and ready to talk about and ready to pass out a sample. Be willing to talk to people. Just be willing to talk. Be willing to bring up Plexus when it feels right. Be willing to speak up. Be willing to put yourself out there. Be willing to talk to people. My sisters were always like at the nail salon or at the grocery store or, shopping somewhere, and I'll bring up Plexus to someone random and they're like, Rebecca, are you still talking about that Plexus thing? And I'm like, yeah, I am. Of course I am. I talk about it all the time. So, be willing to put yourself out there. You just have to be. So whoever it is, be willing to talk about it. Maybe get in a networking group. Is there a networking group in your area? You might be surprised that there is one where you could go and talk about Plexus and meet new people and somehow be connected and networking with them. But those networking groups are really great. Maybe reach out with other entrepreneurs, or there's someone in your friend group or someone that maybe they make something on Etsy, or that they had kind of an Instagram business and they sell t-shirts, or they sell, make cookies. I've seen so many people on Instagram right now, they like make the cookies and they show you like decorating them while they're doing it. It's like amazing and therapeutic. I'm always like watching, and they're making the sprinkles and all that. Anyway, maybe you could partner up with them and say, hey, for Shout Out Friday, can I talk about your business and you talk about mine? And if maybe we'll do a giveaway if someone posts on, tags one of their friends in my picture or something. But just think of ways that you can expand your network and get to see new people. Social media, that you're posting on social media, that you're active there, that you're posting about your personal life and your Plexus business in a way. Y'all know I love talking about social media. I won't go into that, but get in buy sell trade groups or hobby groups. Join lots of groups. We put that post on the page a while ago that Erge made about how so many of her ambassadors were from these sites, and so she joins them, and then she becomes active on the page and she talks to people, and then maybe she shoots them a message about something they were talking about, not necessarily Plexus. Hold your horses. This is a dripping thing. You're building relationships, and but you're meeting new people, and so you're putting yourself out there. You're being strategic. I have a whole list in my notebook about different sites that I'm on, and reminding myself to go in there, to post, to like things, and to interact with certain people. And then I have people like on Instagram that I'm following, that I'm, have found through hashtags, or they found me, that I know I'm dripping on them, and that I remember to go, and I'm remembering to go and comment on their stuff and like their stuff and shoot them a random message or whatever it is. But again, it's expanding my network. These are not like, that's more of a farming process instead of like hunting an immediate kill, but it's expanding my network. And I had 3 people join my team from Instagram in the last month. So it's working. It's working. You should try it. But dripping, hashtags, those are all really, really important. And then lastly, upgrading your customers, checking in with your customers, seeing, can you upsell them? Can you turn them into an ambassador? They've been having great results. So checking in with that. But do not stop recruiting. The last thing I'll just say about recruiting and prospecting is, I always had a new team that got me to the next rank. Okay. Like, the team had to keep growing, and new people were in there for me to get to each rank. And, the team that got me to Emerald, I added 2 more Jewel legs and another Senior Ruby leg, people that joined around that time, that got me to Sapphire, that got me to Diamond. It looks really different. And that was the same from Gold to Senior Gold, Ruby, Senior Ruby. I can see those power players that came on. The team that you have right now is not the team that's going to get you to where your goals are. You've got to be recruiting. That if you're not looking at your team and going, these people are going to get me there, then that means you need new level ones. So that means you need to be recruiting. Okay, moving on. Following up. Okay, taking a sip of my tea here. Okay. You need a follow-up system. You got to have a plan, right? So there's lots of different ones. Some people do the index card system. Some people do a calendar system. Some people do the electronic system in their phone or in Outlook. That's been working really great for me. I have a watch that even updates me on my calendar. And so I've got every conference call, every follow-up, every check-in, all that is on my watch. And so it reminds me, in my phone, it'll ding on there, this is what you're doing today. And so that works for me. I know lots of people that love the index card system. And then I will post about this tomorrow, but that buildingmymlm.com or building your MLM. Anyway, it's like $1.99 a month or $19.99 a year. And people love that. I saw lots of Jules posting about that. And Donnell Reese came to the training the other day. She's a gold on my team from South Carolina, and she flew in to come to the house last week. And she was really talking about that. And so people were really liking that on her team. And again, I've seen lots of Jules talking about it. Okay. I want to say that following up does not just include your potentials and your prospects, but also the people that you already have. Do not forget that we are in the customer service business. And so I've seen so many people over the years that say that someone, they joined someone's team or they became a customer, and then the person that they were buying under or that they joined under, like, never talked to them again. Like, on to the next thing. So, whoops, don't do that. You don't want to hear that. So, if someone joins your team or orders product from you or something like that, make sure that you are still investing in that relationship, you're still checking on them, and that you're still doing your customer service, right? So here's some statistics that I saw on this the other day that I thought were really interesting. Actually, I even put these on the page, but sometimes it's different if you hear it out loud than just seeing it on a graphic. So a 5% increase in customer retention can increase profitability by 75%. So if you've got people that don't just buy one time, but they're buying every single month. I mean, how cool is it that I have people that ordered from me when I first started 3 years ago and they're still ordering today? I mean, that's pretty sweet. Um, Attracting a new customer client costs 5 times more on average than keeping an existing customer. So obviously, well, I mean, that doesn't as much appeal to, pertain to us on the cost factor, maybe, but it is a lot harder to get a new customer than to keep an old one. So keep them happy, keep them. Do they want to bump up and maybe try an X Factor this month, or have they tried the new reformulated block, or have you showed them some of the P96 recipes? Going back and checking, how you doing? Do you want to try something else? They're going to trust you now that they trust the products, and maybe they'll try something else as well. Loyal customers are worth up to 10 times as much as their first purchase. We've got a consumable product here. It's pretty sweet that the first time they order, but the next time, and the next time, the next time, you're getting all those commissions again and again and again. So you want to keep them there. This was about that kind of upselling, that it's 3 to 14 times, which that cracks me up. That's such a spread. 3 to 14 times. 3 to 14 times easier to sell to current clients than new ones. I mean, hello, that's awesome. Don't forget to be staying plugged in with your current customers. This is a part of your daily mode of operations. You definitely need to be checking in with people and all that. So, okay, moving on. That's funny. I was making sure that I knew how to do this, and so like an hour ago, I sent my friend that does these Google Hangouts all the time. I was like, is this how I go live? Because I've messed these up before, and she's just now like, I just now am seeing that, but thankfully I figured it out. Okay, actually going to take my watch off. That is distracting me. Okay, people skills. So these are kind of hard to train on, right? But people skills are what are going to put you in a different market than some of the people that other people that do Plexus. And this is not just a personality. Like, you can acquire these skills, you can work on these, and you can grow in this area. So if you're like, I'm an introvert, I'm scared of people, I'm socially awkward in situations because I don't know what to say, you can work on that. Okay. We're not ending it there. That's not an excuse. We're moving on. We're going to fix it. So these are hugely important. You can start by your social media, or just attraction marketing. What are you putting out there? What's your brand? Because that's going to attract people to you. And so some of that will be through social media, and that might be an easier way for you to interact. However, when you are talking to people and you are out and about and you're meeting new people, there's kind of some things to be aware of, to ask yourself, to practice. So what's your energy like? What's your energy level? What kind of, what are the inflections in your voice? Are you happy? Are you positive? Don't be Pollyanna, but be someone that's in the conversation, that is not negative or complaining, but that you're listening to that person and that you are totally engaged in what they're saying. Look them in the eye, smile, nod if they're talking, those things connect with that person. And I feel like we're in such a all about me culture, make it all about them. Listen so much more than you talk, which is better for you anyway, because the more you listen, the more you're going to see how they need Plexus, why they need Plexus, how it might not be the time right then. And that's another thing. Be okay just developing that relationship so that you can bring up Plexus later. Listen to what they're saying. And it might be a good time, and it might not. But listen so much more than you talk. And a lot of times people will leave a conversation if they got to talk a lot. They're like, oh, I loved her. It was the best conversation because they were talking the whole time. But that's okay. So be okay listening. Ask lots of questions. Be a curious conversationalist. Create common ground. See if you can find a common interest and a common ground that will connect you and make you more relatable, because that's going to make them trust you more. And maybe start to ask, what do you do? What do you like to do? Ask them, what do you do? So that then they're probably going to return that question, and then be prepared to say what you do, something that feels natural to you, something that feels explains what you do. Don't forget that, that TED talk that we love that says people aren't going to buy what you're selling. They're going to buy why you're selling it, why you're doing it. So be willing to say what Plexus has done for you, or what attracted you to it, or why you're doing it, because those stories and those connections, that's going to make them believe in you, believe in what you're doing, and want to do what you're doing. This one's kind of silly, but I think this is something that's a good people skill to have. If you see a strength in someone, if you identify a strong point in them, say it out loud. Say it out loud. Maybe it's just something like, you smell good. I think being a new mom for so many years, smelling like breast milk and spit up, I'm always, when someone tells me that I smell good, I'm like, oh, thank you. That's my favorite compliment, because I know I didn't for so many years. But I love any kind of little thing, like, oh, I love your shirt, or oh, you're so fun to talk to, or you're so easy to talk to, or this has been a great day, or I'm so proud of you for doing something that they say that they've done or they've accomplished. If you see a strength, speak it out. Speak it out boldly, genuinely, not to flatter them, but just be willing to identify a strength in someone and to speak it out. I think that's such a great character quality, and it connects you with them, and people don't hear a lot of positive things about themselves. And so be willing to be the one that tells it to them. And I feel like that's something that I do all the time, that I don't even really realize that I was doing it. But people now like talk about different things that I've said over the years that was just encouraging them or affirming them in some way. And I realize I grew up in a house where my parents were full of affirmations for my sisters and me. And so I kind of took that for granted, and I shouldn't have, because there's a lot of people that don't hear good things about themselves. So you be the one that tells it to them. And anyway, I think that's a great quality to have. Listen for timing, listen for tone, listen for whys, listen to those social, verbal, nonverbal cues that let you know, is this a good opportunity to share or not? And be okay not sharing Plexus right then and waiting for a later opportunity. I just wrote down, we are a people business that's disguised as a health and wellness business. It is all about the people, because it's not just about getting them in the business. Then we'll talk about next. It's really about, once they're in there, investing in them and motivating and connecting with them. That's going to make them stick around and work harder and be able to see their own potential. A lot of times, when I'm reaching out to someone new, it is so much more about building the belief in them that they are able to do this, they are capable of this, than even what the products and the business can do for them, because building that belief is so important. So, the next topic after people skills I wanted to talk about was motivating your team. And I feel like a lot of times what can happen is maybe you've recruited a bunch of people. Maybe you've got a bunch of level ones, and you're like, why are they not duplicating? And sometimes what I see is that you can be a powerhouse recruiter and not make those investments and the time into your team. Because, okay, a lot of us that have been successful in Plexus, we're kind of self-starters and we're like, okay, got it. Yep, I'm just going to do this. Got it. I don't even really, I signed up a girl not very long ago and she was like, I don't need you to tell me how to do this. I just need to know what's the deal with the how does your business plan work? I was like, sweet, because that's how so many of us are. They're like, okay, I get it. You just talk to people and connect with people and then go from there. And I'm like, yeah, basically. But if you're someone that you just think like that and you're not investing in your team, that's not how most of your team is going to work. And they need to be connected to you. They need to hear good job. They need to be reminded to goal set and to see, hey, good job on hitting some of those smaller milestones. So check in with them. I have a check-in calendar and I have, all my level ones and some of my level twos and just some of my runners on there that I want to make sure that I'm staying in touch with. And I have a bunch of information about them and kind of their last month. And at the end, I've got a few little dashes and I want to make sure that I have checked in with each of those people 3 times. And so every time that I check in with them over the month, I put a little check mark. And it could be just, hey, a voice text. It could be a shout out on the team page. It could be going to lunch. It could be an hour-long Zoom call. It looks and sounds differently. I just want to know that I have connected with those people several times. Now, a new ambassador, I compare those to like a nursing infant. They are just with you all the time and you're just like literally nursing them for nourishment because they don't know how to do anything. And so you need to be talking to them and plugging in with them and answering lots of questions and challenging them and motivating them and all that. But as they step further away, maybe they just need a few, bits of contact. But you've got to stay in contact with them and know what's going on, because sometimes it's that culture that'll get people to stick around even when it's harder because of the community that's there. And there's times in Plexus that are hard. There's times that are tough, and you don't want them to just leave just because they feel like they're a number or that they're just anything like that. But because on both sides, like, you wanted this person in your business and you want the best for them. And so you're connecting with them, and then the same for them. Okay. So when I sit someone down, the first thing that I want to ask them is, what do you want out of this? What do you want out of this? And from there, I want them to tell me what they want out of it. Not what I want for them, not what my goals are for them, but what do they want? And I might push them a little bit further than what they're saying their goal is. But start there. That's okay. You don't have to tell them, no, you're going to go diamond. They might just be looking to go gold, or it might be a dollar amount or something like that. So sit down, see what their goals are, get on their same page. Okay, let's see. Oh, I just said when you're staying in contact with them, recruiting, that's the beginning, not the end. You don't want to just get them to sign up and then never talk to them again. So you are going to work with the working, though. I've got lots of people on my team. Everybody says they want it, right? Everybody says they're going to go all the way. They're going to do all the things that they want it all. But they're not doing these things like we're talking about today. They're not reaching out. They're not having a daily mode of operation. They don't do the income producing activities. And when you do the calendar, they step on that Weight Watchers scale. What happens? It shows up. It's not happening. And so so I work with the working. I love the 80% of the team that is saying they're going for it, but I run with the 20%. And those runners on my team that are wanting to work it and they've got all the questions and they need me on Zoom calls and they need me on 3-way calls and all that, I'm very, very available, and I make a lot of time for that. But the rest of them, I'm not hand-holding. I'm not dragging anybody along. I'm not pushing them along, because I've got people that do want it. And at times where I haven't had people that want it, well, then I'm out there looking for new people. I can't want it more than anybody else. So I'm running with my working people. With motivating your team, something you can be doing is goal setting, those SMART goals. It might be products. It might be a month-long goal or a year-long goal or a long-term goal. But I'm plugging in with them. I'm figuring out what their goals are. I'm figuring out what, the SMART goals. So SMART, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-bound, all those that I want to make sure that they're great goals and that we're checking in with them, and all that. I want to do one-on-ones with my team. I want to talk to them. I want to ask really good questions. I want to know what's going on. What do they need from me? How can I invest in them? Who, finding the people on their team, and we're kind of being strategic about what's going on with them. And then I have things that I want to check in with them in a week, 10 days, 2 weeks. So when I call back, I'm checking in and I'm keeping track with that. When I'm talking with them, I want to be excited. I want to be positive. I want to be real. If they're having a bad month, their stuff's going on in Plexus and it's hard, I'm like, you know what? This is rough, and I'm really sorry about this, but here's what we can focus on. Here's what we can't. I want to identify the successes. I want to point out those successes and say, look, this was good. And I'm going to find those high points. But I want to make sure that I'm a cheerleader for them and that I'm telling them there's going to be good there. So it's my job to find it and connect with them. Another part of that would be the team culture through motivating your team. Maybe you have a smaller team, so you can do some more fun things that it's harder to do when you have a really big team. So maybe you could be putting on their happy birthday on their birthdays, do shout outs that way, or happy Plexiversary. That you can do fun things like that. Keep your page, and if you don't have a page, your chat. I really don't think it's a great idea to have a page until you're more like senior gold or ruby or senior ruby. And so maybe you just have a chat with your runners, and so that you're active on there and you're talking, that you're doing three-way calls with them, that you're putting shout out threads and saying, hey, this is going on. Give a shout out to your sponsor or someone on your team that's working hard or something like that. Again, be that cheerleader. Encouragement encourages people to work harder. People work harder for praises than raises. So make sure that you are putting that out there. Recognition is free and it is a huge deal. Now, listen to me on this. Recognition for all is recognition for none. So those achievers, if you're just recognizing everyone, that's going to be off-putting to your achievers. And those are the people that need the most recognition because that's going to fuel them and they're going to be your runners. Okay. So don't just put anything on there, but if it's a PDM, if it's a positive defining moment, then shout it out, whether it's a new customer, a new ambassador, having consistent great PV or just high PV. You just notice their PV's high. All those, great recognition. And that could look like a shout out on your page or in your chat. It could be a voice message. It could be something on their wall. It could be any of those things. But find a way to recognize people. Have chat groups that are going. Have contests on your team page. They could be cheap. People love Plexus swag. They love $10 gift card. They love product. They love all kinds of stuff. So, but do contests every once in a while. Voice message your shout outs. Send people voice messages. Let them hear that enthusiasm in your voice. Celebrate their wins. Celebrate the wins. They do not need to hear from you all the time. Well, are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? If you're always on them, that's exhausting. I don't ever want someone to feel like they're not measuring up to my, that they're trying to do something for me. Like I'm not their boss. So I just want people to do it because they want to. So I'm doing that. Attach emotion to their why. Make sure that you're reminding them about their why, that you're still remembering what the extra $500 a month is going to do for their family. You're bringing that up, that you're attaching that emotion. Make them feel special. Make them feel special. Make them feel like you're so glad that they're on your team, because you are. And so I think it's important to make them feel special. Help them find a power partner, and then recognition. That will motivate your team. And then checking in with them, helping them to find success. Be okay being the one that says, okay, if I saw something that was holding you back, would you want me to tell you? And sometimes you have to have real conversations. conversations and some tough love in there. And that's okay too. I mean, that's not fun, but that is part of being a good leader. And not don't nitpick. And like I said earlier, it's not your job to be their boss and say, hey, where are you? You haven't done this and you haven't done that. But it's okay to say, if someone's saying, you know, you're struggling, and say, well, do you want me to tell you maybe some things that I think that might make a difference, and be okay having those real conversations. Okay, so to recap, your behavior sets the tone. So it all starts with you. What are you doing? Are you putting out there? Are you winning the Garmin? Are you winning the planner? Are you winning things, showing your team, hey, I'm working this. I'm working it. Because you're going to be that standard bearer. You adding new people to your team page and to your chat. They're going to notice that. More's caught than taught. They're going to notice, okay, she's working it. That's why she's moving along in this business. Keep going, keep moving, even when it's hard, even if no one's coming with you, you stay in activity, you stay in momentum. And sometimes, they need to see someone else trudging ahead so that they can run and catch up. So you be that one that's running ahead, even if you're by yourself. That's okay. Actually, you won't be by yourself. I'll be running with you. So come run with me. The last thing, I said this on a training a couple weeks ago with Brenda Martin, because I was recapping Super Saturday. And I told this last little story at Super Saturday, but I think it's so good that I'm going to tell y'all again. I read it on the plane. I was reading some article when I was going to Raleigh for Super Saturday a few weeks ago, and it was about the Chinese bamboo tree. And a Chinese bamboo tree is this really cool little tree. And once it's planted for 4 years, no part of the tree comes above the surface. No part of it. You don't see it, but it's being watered and being taken care of. And underneath the surface, the roots are growing. Listen to that. 4 years, you don't see any sign of life on the top, okay? But it's growing these incredible roots. And then in the 5th year, it sprouts up and grows into a huge tree. And they say literally you can almost see it growing with your bare eyes, the naked eye, because it's growing so fast, because those roots for years have soaked up all the good soil. They're moving and grooving, and they're doing all those big things. Plexus is a Chinese bamboo tree. Mark my words, it is. So sometimes you might feel like you don't know how it's growing and you don't know what's going on. But guys, those roots are going, and you're doing all these small things every day so that when it's time, your business is going to shoot up, and it just snowballs. But it's hard to get there. It is. And you're looking and you're looking and you're talking to people, and I cannot even imagine how many people told me no over the years, but that's just where we are. And enough tell you yes. I've told y'all before, I probably have 120 level ones. Out of those, about 25 are probably still active. And out of those, 5 or 6 are just like working it with me, and I'm a diamond, and I have a big team. Y'all are a big team, a huge team, lots of points because of like 6 people. You don't need an army. You just need a handful of people that believe in it and work it with you, okay? Y'all can do this. And doing these small steps every day, even when you don't want to, even when it's tiring, even when you're saying, I'm not seeing the fruit, or I'm not seeing any of the tree coming above the surface yet, that's going to get you where you want to go. And I know you can do it. And I know this business works. I know these products work. I know the business works. And we get to see success stories every day. So I hope that helps. I hope you all have a great rest of the night, and I'll talk to you soon.